Welcome to the Game Changer show of Keys2MyCrops program powered by COMPO EXPERT. We have so far talked about the contribution of COMPO EXPERT in agriculture. We have also discussed about its contribution to the food chain. Now we explore a new aspect of life. We will try to understand the quality of life in the modern times and cities. More specifically, about the importance of a green landscape in sports activities such as football and golf and the public green as well. The theme of today is all about turf. We have the pleasure to have on the show Dr. Fritz Lord. Dr. Fritz Lord, with studies on horticulture and agricultural science at the Rhine University Geisenheim and Humboldt University in Berlin, holds a Ph.D. in plant physiology and phytopathology. He serves the COMPO Expert Group as a global crop manager turf since 2008. He's responsible for professional technical consultation in turf and product management around the world, like golf turf, sports turf, public green, municipalities, urban green, etc. He's a board member of the European Turf Grass Society and the International Turf Grass Society. Dr. Lord, welcome on the show.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm happy to be here today and talk about turf. Yeah,
I know that you are, to our minds, that you are the turf guy, the turf scientist. So what is your vision about the turf sector?
Oh, the vision about turf sector. Turf is a very important segment. You know that a lot of sport take place on turf surfaces. It's a very, very interesting plant, exciting, and you need also some passion to maintain a proper quality turf area, because it's a very complex issue. Most of the people are thinking, okay, turf, you just have to mow it and you have to bring some water and then you have a perfect turf, but this is absolutely not the case. Turf is a very complex issue. We have a very high educated staff working on turf. And without these knowledge, we will not be able to develop a vision about turf. Turf is very, very important for human health. And we all know what Corona is. And we are very happy to have these green areas in the municipalities, in the cities, where the people can spend some free time, where they can relax, enjoy, or where they can play football, tennis, golf, hockey, horse races, and so on. So it's a very important segment. And all of you know, of course, the football Bundesliga in Germany and also in other countries, Champions League. We have this year the European Football Champions League. And all these games, these matches will take place on turf. So it's very exciting. And we have a lot of challenges, of course, because due to the climate changing. So the question is, do we need artificial turf or can we maintain natural turf? This is a very hot discussed issue at the moment. And the vision is, of course, to keep the natural turf as good as possible. And as I told you, a lot of knowledge is required. And I'm happy to support this segment with my knowledge and with my experiences.
You are a guy that, a person that has a very deep knowledge about the psychology of the people. And I'm asking you a question that is not easy to be understood from most of the people. Why is it so important to have good quality sports and public green spaces? Why is that?
Yeah, of course, these final sentences after a match, for example, if a match was not so successful, the trainer is telling you, it was the bad turf. It was not the team, it was the bad turf. The turf was in a bad condition, and that's why it was not possible to win. So, of course, it's important to have a good quality because, you can only play the sport on a very well maintained surface, on a high quality surface. And think about golf, for example. It's a very precise sport, and the ball have to roll through, and that's why it's very important to have a high quality to do all these things on a turf surface. And in the public green area, we know that the impact of turf to the microclimate of a city is very important. And you can also have these, or you can only have these benefits if you have the plants in a good quality, so that they can do the whole metabolistic system, that they can do the the photosynthesis and all these processes in the plant. So we can only get the benefits from the plants, from the turf areas, if they are in a proper condition, if they have a high quality.
Right. So, to my mind, some people, I had some discussion that they say have a perfect turf is an art, or some others they say no, it's just only science. So it is an art or a science for you?
It's a combination. It's very tricky, this question, because what we know today is, Christos, it's very difficult to maintain a professional turf area. And the people who are doing that are called green keepers. So they try to keep it green. And I can tell you that they all have a very, very high standard of education. In the United States, for example, we have universities and they only focus on turf. And in UK, Great Britain, they have a very high level of education in the greenkeeper segment. And also in Germany, we have greenkeeper schools, we have universities which are focused on that issue. So what we have learned is that turf is a complex system and correlated to a lot of factors, and we have to understand turf more deeply to keep it on a high quality standard. And that's why I would say a practical experience is very important, to do your own experiences on your football pitch, on your golf course, in the municipalities. But without science, we will totally fail. And there are a lot of challenges for the future. And that's why we need the science, of course, and we need also the practical experiences.
Mm-hmm. The average person has a picture about the turf, and they believe that the nature's turf is fantastic because the movies have trained us on that. So you are in, let's say, in quotes, in artificial turf, in a quote that you choose the species and you try to imitate the mother nature. So how close to the mother nature turf we must aim when we design green spaces?
Yeah, that's a good question. For my opinion, we cannot replace the nature with artificial systems. That's not possible. But what we have developed in the last 5 or 6, 8 years is a so-called hybrid turf. So we combine the natural turf with the artificial fibers. And that's a good solution, mainly for the football pitches, because you have to take into account that we play football during the winter time, for example, when the natural grass is not able to recover very quickly. We have bad weather conditions, cold temperatures, a very high traffic on the surfaces. And sometimes the natural turf is at a limit. And so that's why the development of these hybrid systems were very important for the mainly for the football segment. So, but at the end, I would say, and coming back to my vision regarding the turf segment, we cannot imitate the nature. We have to deal with the nature, and if we understand the correlations and the complex system behind the turf, then we will also be able and it's possible to get a very nice natural turf. But in addition, we are very happy to have these artificial, these hybrid turfs. Yeah.
All right. So let's go now in more technical, more strategic. Let's talk a little bit about designing a natural sports field. How we have to start, when we have to start, what are the key aspects, the key factors we have to take in consideration before to start building such kind of sports field?
That's a very important basis to think about, because we can not only put our focus on the surface, on the plant. We all know that the plant also needs a soil or a soil construction where it can root into. So that's why at the beginning of a natural grass sports turf field, you have to think about the soil construction. That's very important. And we do not use natural soils in the professional turf design. We are using very sandy soil constructions with a low indigenous microorganism population. And that's why it's important to optimize the microbial activity in these more or less artificial soil constructions. And this is important to understand that it is a system containing the soil factors and the plant factors, the above growth and the below growth. And this is the most important aspect to have these two horizons in an optimal condition, in an optimal system.
To my eyes, the football and the golf courses are similar. Is that true? Or no, there are some differences in sense of turf quality or some other, let's say, prerequisites between the two of them?
It's total different.
Total different.
Yes, I would say yes. Let me start. So the sport is totally different. The ball is much bigger in football compared to the golf ball. So you can imagine that the mowing height is totally different. What do you think is the mowing height of a football pitch? For example, a Bundesliga football pitch or the pitch in Spain, in UK? Mm-hmm. Christos, what do you think? Come on.
I have to think a little bit. Probably.
Centimeter. I give you a help. We are talking about centimeters.
Probably in football, because we have a lot of traffic on that, is more dense than the golf courses.
No, wrong. You failed. You have another chance. No, come on. I will help you. The mowing height
we have different species in golf courses.
Exactly, a total different species. You need a deeper mowing height on a golf course. You are not mowing in centimeters. You're mowing in millimeters.
In millimeters. That's
3 millimeters on a golf green, or below 3 millimeters, and on a football pitch you are mowing 2 centimeters, 2.5 centimeters, round about that. So this is totally different. You have totally different turf or grass varieties. Normally in football systems, you are dealing with ryegrass and Kentucky bluegrass. And on golf greens, normally you have the bentgrass, which is very, very dense. 200,000 stems per square meter, so it's very, very dense. compared to 40,000 on a golf on a football pitch, for example. So this is different than the soil is a little bit different. Normally in football stadiums, for example, you have no wind circulation. So this is a very important issue. So a lot of fungal diseases are feeling very well in these non-circulated areas. You have a lot of shadow because of the high building. And all these abiotic stress factors are influencing, of course, the turf. And this is what you have to take into account in your greenkeeping concept. Huh? So that's why it's a little bit different, yeah. But at the end, it's a challenge to keep a high quality turf independent from a football or a golf course. The requirements are very, very high.
Through the television, we have different pictures. We have different ideas about the quality of the turf in the northern climates and the south of them. And you are a global manager and you have global experience or experience all over the world. So can you please give us a distinction between the differences between north and south climate on turf basis, I mean?
Yeah. We are talking about plants.
Yes.
And you have to know that we are using different turf species in the south or in the north. So normally in the south area, we are using the so-called warm season grasses. They have a different metabolistic system compared to the cool season grasses, which we are using in the northern part of Europe, for example. And these different turf species are requiring different factors. So that's why the maintenance is a little bit different. But what the greenkeepers from the north, for example, can learn from the greenkeepers from the south is, for example, the drought tolerance. We are in a phases where we have climate changing effects, a global warming. So a main abiotic stress factor for the turf, also in North Europe, is the heat and the drought and the UV radiation. And the greenkeepers from the south, from California, from Florida, or from Asia, they are used to these high temperatures, and they have their experiences in supporting the turf in these uncomfortable conditions. So this is what the north greenkeepers maybe can learn, or they can participate on the experiences from the south greenkeepers. That's a problem which is very, very important. The drought tolerance, the question, how can we save water in the future? And what can the greenkeeper do to do a kind of conditioning for the turf, to prepare the turf for these abiotic stress factors? Very interesting.
It's quite interesting because now you scratch a very, let's say, global consideration about climate change or climate transition. Nobody knows yet, but of course we feel that change or transition from one other to the other one. So some years ago, it was common that we have some practices in north, some other practices in south, that everything was stable, but now it's changing, and we have to learn each other. This is quite interesting, not only in turf, but in crops in general.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about COMPO EXPERT, because COMPO EXPERT is a well-known company, an organization worldwide that has a lot of innovations in the market, a lot of technologies outside. Can you please give us some ideas about how many of them are applied in turf sector, for example?
Yes, we have a lot of innovations, of course. We are a manufacturer of fertilizers, and you can imagine that if you use the turf in such an intensive way, it has to be fertilized because the generation growth, the regeneration growth of turf is correlated to a nutrient status, of course, and that's why fertilizers are very important. But as I told you, we have these sandy soil structures on a golf course, but also in a stadium, for example. What does it mean? The water is percolating very quickly into the deeper horizon, and that's why we have to create fertilizers which are not leaching. The nitrate, for example, should not leached out, and this is what we have done with our Floranit portfolio. We have two very effective nitrogen sources, and this is perfect for turf fertilization. And what we also have developed is, and that's very important for turf, is the whole sector of biostimulants. We have some very severe diseases. Everybody's talking about corona, but of course we have also pathogens which are infecting the turf, and without a concept against these pathogens, against these diseases, we would also fail. And that's why we have developed these biostimulants to promote the vitality of the turf, thinking about seaweed extracts and all the Vitanica portfolio we have developed during the last years, and they are very, very well established in the whole world to support the turf in activating its own defense mechanisms, for example. So these are real innovations, the biostimulants from COMPO EXPERT, and also the very specific fertilizers with a high efficiency.
Now your answer is giving me one question in my mind, because the key issue, a hot topic nowadays is sustainability. Not easy to be defined, but okay, we are talking different aspects of sustainability. And I'm thinking a little bit, because in our mind, in the average person, a golf or football course requires a lot of water, a lot of fertilizer, a lot of pesticide, whatever. Do you believe that we can talk about sustainability with the solutions of COMPO EXPERT in turf sector?
Of course, absolutely, definitely.
Please explain.
I'm very happy that you touched this point, because it's worldwide hot discussed. We have universities which are focused on sustainability, turf maintenance. Everybody is talking about sustainability. We had a lot of conferences worldwide together with the International Turf Research Society, and all the topics were sustainability. And yeah, you can do a lot. You can start by choosing the right varieties. We have a lot of tolerant or resistant varieties regarding the turf seeds. Some are more tolerant against diseases or drought. And this is what you can do. And once established, you can, of course, do a sustainable maintenance with the COMPO EXPERT products. Think about, for example, how you can save water. And we have the portfolio Kick wetting agents. And this is a wetting agent which helps you to save water. It brings the water in the deeper horizon without running off, and makes the whole irrigation more efficient. And at the end, you will save a lot of water, and this is a step in direction sustainability. And also the biostimulants, for example, we are using the Vitanica range I talked about. These are liquid biostimulants which are able to improve the healthy and the vitality of turf, so that the plant-own defense mechanisms are very active, so that the stress factors are not able to damage the turf. And if you incorporate these biostimulants, for example, into your fertilization concept with potassium or magnesium, iron, trace elements, you can do a lot to realize or to organize a sustainable turf maintenance. And this is what we want to do in our company, in COMPO EXPERT company, to offer the greenkeepers solutions, or to talk about the problems and to offer some tools. How can you face these problems together with the COMPO EXPERT? How can you build up a sustainable concept? And we have a lot of products helping in this direction.
You hold an Ph.D. in plant physiology and phytopathology. Yeah. So I'd like to ask you just to dig deeper a little bit about the biostimulants. Biostimulants in general is a category of some substances that is doing something incredible, but nobody knows exactly how it works. And now there is a big discussion about the biostimulants. It is part of fertilization, it is part of stress management, it is part of the strategic, let's say, nutrition. So please dig a little bit more about the biostimulants, what is all about, and what we're expecting about that, and in which directions, what kind of biostimulants from now and on we're expecting, things like that.
Yeah, that's a very scientific part of our product development. You can imagine that it is a very complex issue, because you go into the plant physiology. It's not a fertilizer or it's not a pesticide, so you cannot calculate it because there is no direct action against the pathogen, for example, or against the stress factor. What you can do with the biostimulants is that you can trigger some processes within the plant to help to be more fit against the stress factors. That's maybe the most important thing. You have the indirect way. So, for example, very well-known biostimulants are the seaweed extracts. And there are a lot of products in the market, of course, but it depends what kind of raw materials are you using, what kind of combinations are you using to use, for example, synergistic effects. We know that there are some synergistic effects with humic acid and seaweed extract, for example. And we in the COMPO EXPERT company, we have a huge R&D, research and development center, where we are testing all these things. We have partnerships with very accepted universities and institutes. So what I want to say is our products, our biostimulants are on a very high scientific basis, and they work. And that's very important. A lot of products are telling you everything, and they are promising everything. But at the end, it is very important what are you using and what is the process of the product. Is it cold micronization process based, or is it treated with chemicals or high temperatures, so that at the end maybe some very valuable ingredients are damaged? So this is what you have to take into account. It's a very complex topic, and what I can say at the end is we have to look for alternatives. We will be very restricted in the future using pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, and that's why we have to look for alternatives. And these biostimulants are really, how shall I say, the right step in the right direction. And that's why a lot of our research work and our energy and our visions also is focused on the development of suitable biostimulants.
Quite interesting, and thank you very much for your answer, because biostimulants is a new direction of finding alternatives or understanding better the plants. And by this, the science will contribute a lot to the future, as we said, about the sustainability and about the climate change and or climate transition. To my knowledge, there are 3 crop stages of turf. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The first stage is about the start growth, that it takes in springtime. Then we have the regeneration and vitalization during the summertime, and the resistant in autumn time. If I'm right about those stages, what exactly the turf keepers must pay attention to each stage?
Yeah, Christos, this is a very conservative point of view, because these stages are mixed within the year. So normally, of course, you are right. We have the start growth in the springtime. So that means you have to overcome maybe the winter damages. You have to bring fertilizer, nitrogen-dominated fertilizer to initiate the regeneration growth after the winter. That's very important. In the summer, you have to focus more on drought tolerance, vitalization. The first diseases are coming up. Drought is a very big issue, and heat, of course. So how can you manage that with a fertilization program? So that's why we have created the potassium dominated fertilizers for the summertime, to improve the drought tolerance of the turf. That's very important. What we have learned in the last years is that potassium is a very, very important nutrient for turf. And we in the COMPO Expert group, we have a lot of potassium dominated fertilizers with fine granules for the golf course, but also with a core granule for the soccer or football pitches. But at the end, potassium is very important. And resistance in autumn, of course, we are more focused in autumn on iron, magnesium, to improve the photosynthesis activity, to use the less daylight for an optimal photosynthesis activity. Yes, so that's why you are right. We have these 3 stages: growth, initial growth in the springtime, vitalization, potassium dominated trace elements in the summertime, and a resistant maintenance in the autumn, to fight against also the winter hardiness. But to be honest, Christos, sometimes we are having very, very severe situations also during the summertime. For example, we have a summer break in football maintenance, football turf maintenance, and then they are doing a lot of maintenance in the summertime, overseeding, new seeding, soil improvement with big machines. And in this time, you have also to take into account, you need regeneration growth. That's why you need maybe some spring fertilizers also in the summertime. So it depends on the aim you are following. And a fertilization program, a modern fertilization program today, is always including these biostimulants we talked about. So I do not know a professional greenkeeper who is not using these biostimulants, like silicon, silicium, or iron trace elements, seaweed extract, humic acids, amino acids, and all these very nice and helpful ingredients we are also using in our COMPO Expert portfolio. So it depends, like so often, on the aim you are following, which kind of fertilization concept you are using. So for example, we did a lot of recommendation for the World Championship, Football World Championship in Russia. And you can imagine that a stadium in Kaliningrad or in St. Petersburg is totally different from the stadium in Sochi. So that's why you cannot use a standard fertilization program for all the stadiums. So you have to look what is the specific situation in your region, in your stadium, what are the things you have to take into account, and then you have to create a proper and suitable fertilization program. So we are far away from the old standard recommendations. We are always using soil samples. We do analysis, and that's also very important for COMPO EXPERT. We do not only want to sell products. We want to help the greenkeepers. We offer services. We do soil analysis. We do DNA analysis regarding the plant disease situation on your golf course or in the stadium, in the municipalities. We are doing trace element analysis in the tissue of the plants. And then on basis of these data, we are developing together with the greenkeeper a suitable concept. And this is exactly the differentiation of COMPO EXPERT to a lot of other companies. We understand ourselves as a partnership, and that's why we are not only offering quality products, but also services. And we do not want to have a standard program. We have a very differentiated fertilization concepts, including all these things I talked about.
I like very much the concept about solution provider instead of product offer provider. And this means that, okay, you pay attention about the details and of course the needs of the details of the turf and the needs of the customer. But for the people that are watching our show, can you please give the basic, let's say, guide about the nutrition based on the COMPO EXPERT program, products in its stage? For example, in start growth, what kind of product we use and why, and then in the basic level.
Yes, of course, I can say some basics. So the basic is in springtime a nitrogen-dominated formula, and it's very important that you have a high nitrogen efficiency. And we are using in our Floranit fertilizer range the IBDU and CDU nitrogen source, and these both sources we are combining so that we have an activity index nearly 100%. That means a lot of the fertilized nitrogen is in fact reaching the plant, and that's not the case every time if you take other fertilizers in the comparison. So that's why the efficiency is very important, the nitrogen efficiency in the springtime. We have the Floranit range, and then in the summertime, once again, we change to a more potassium-dominated formula, also from the Floranit range. Floranit means these fertilizers are containing the high efficiency nitrogen sources, and then they are combined with, for example, trace elements or more potassium or less potassium or whatever. But the basis is the very high quality nitrogen source we are using. So that means in the summertime, we have the Floranit Club or the Floranit Permanent as a standard fertilizer for these summer fertilization with a high potassium content, trace elements to cope the drought tolerance. And in the autumn, we are changing to a less nitrogen formulation because we do not want to promote the disease infection. We do not want to have a lot of growth because we are more focused on the quality of the turf, the physiology, the stress tolerance against the winter and the wear. And that's why we are more focused on iron and magnesium, for example. Ferrotop is a very, very famous fertilizer for late autumn application. And Christos, we are fertilizing till December sometimes because we have mild winters here in Germany and also in other parts in UK in Netherlands, they are fertilizing also in December. And then, of course, you cannot apply such a lot of nitrogen. It's also not required, but the turf requires some iron maybe or some magnesium. And that's why we have these three categories of spring fertilizer, summer fertilizer, and autumn fertilizer. You can all find these informations also on the webpage, because I'm also writing a lot of brochures and technical articles in magazines. You can apply for our newsletter. You can, we have published a lot of these experiences and recommendations. We also have some concrete fertilization programs you can get on the COMPO EXPERT webpage. So you can see, okay, this is maybe also suitable for my situation, and then you can copy this fertilization program. So a lot of examples we have published in our turf brochure.
So somebody is interested about those aspects as we discussed today, he can go to www.compoexpert.com.
Of course. Or Christos, you can also call me or contact me. I'm very open for these questions. And of course, do not hesitate to contact me or to visit our webpage. We are also active on Facebook. We have some videos also published, there are a lot of different channels you can use. And at the end, if you are not successful, please call me, no problem.
Perfect. So first step, we go to the www.compoexpert.com, then we can apply for a newsletter, then we can go about the publication, and then about some videos. And at the end, if we have more questions, we can reach you directly. Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, or maybe you can collect these questions, and we can do a webinar, for example. We can organize a webinar where we can touch all these questions in half an hour. So I'm open for everything, no problem.
I will, because this is quite interesting topic, not only for North countries, but not only about the sports, but we're talking about the public green as well. So I like to ask you something more personal, something more in your, let's say, experiences and your, let's say, memories.
Yeah.
In very popular events such as Olympic Games, World Football Club, European Football Championship, the perfection of turf is what the organizer requires. Perfection, not just only having good quality. Perfection, because we know that a lot of money is paid about that, and the picture is quite interesting. And of course, the quality must be in top level. And how can a greenkeeper achieve such kind of excellence? How do you have any story to share with us about something that you had to do, something for very, let's say, interesting and high time championship that you had as a challenge, and how you managed to have such kind of high quality of turf?
Yeah, that's really a challenge to go over the high quality requirements to a perfection. Yes, and this is what the greenkeeper has to do. Talking about such an event like a World Championship or European Championship or a big golf tournament, of course. Yeah, there are some tips, and there are some measures you can do. Once again, the greenkeepers today are very well educated, and they are visiting all the conferences we have. Indeed, some specific turf conferences all over the world. And a lot of greenkeepers are visiting these education programs. I'm also a teacher in these education programs. And so often I met greenkeepers from Spain, from Netherlands, from France, from Germany, from all over the world. And so I'm really convinced that the greenkeepers are able to to produce such a high quality turf. But of course, you can trigger something, you can optimize some things, and exactly therefore we have different products like, for example, Vitanica SE. This is a silicium-based liquid fertilizer, seaweed extracts, cold micronization process, and silicium. And this is a typical example how you can make your turf perfect, because silicium is uptaken by the plants and the turf is getting harder. That means the ball on a golf green, for example, is running very fast and very true. And this is very important for a high quality tournament. So if you apply these Vitanica SE 3 or 5 days before such a tournament, you will have perfect conditions. And all these little things, in addition to a very professional fertilization program, will help you to offer such a perfect turf. Also, a kind of finish with iron, for example, is very important, because iron is offering such a greening effect to the turf. You have more photosynthesis, and at the end you have more roots and a stable turf surface. That's also very important. How can I make the turf stable? How can I stabilize a football turf, for example? And then you are very quick in the root horizon. And the question is, how can I promote the root system? And also for the root system, we have different products like Root Booster. It's an amino acid, a synthetic amino acid, which is very, very good for developing the lateral root development, not the depth of the root, but the architecture of the root. The lateral beside roots are influenced by these root booster, and then you have a stable turf surface where you can play football, tennis, or whatever. Also horse racing. We are involved in horse racing Ashburn in UK, and I will also give a seminar for the Horse Race Society. And you can imagine a horse is a real heavy stress factor to turf. And the question is, how can I make the turf stable? And then you are exactly not by nitrogen and potassium, but more in the root promoting product range. And also there we have a lot of innovations developed within the last years. So it is very interesting, and I'm absolutely convinced that it will be in the future interesting topic. And yeah.
You are a treasure of information, you are a treasure of experience, you are a treasure of knowledge, but time flies and we are approaching to the end of this show. And we started with your vision, and we have to, it must, to end up with your message to all the stakeholders of the global turf sector. What is your message to them?
It's very simple. It's difficult on one hand, but very simple on the other hand. For me, the most important thing is that you need passion. Passion is a very good motivation to offer quality. And the other thing is, you have to understand turf. Turf is not so simple. Turf is a very complex system, and you have always to think in a system, in a structure. So you cannot only focus on the green leaf, you also have to look in the soil. The root is very important. The soil construction is very important. Soil oxygen is very important. If you are dealing with, for example, beneficial microorganisms, it sounds very easy to put these microbes into the soil, but Christos, it's very, very difficult, because these living organisms are requiring comfortable situations, oxygen, for example. And if you have a compactation, then your beneficial microorganisms will go away, or they will sleep and will not work. So that's why you have to understand what you are doing. And that's why for me, keep your knowledge not only in your group, in your team, publish it, visit conferences, exchange your knowledge with colleagues, talk about problems. Everybody of us is doing some mistakes, but the real mistake is not to talk about and to do it in the same way for the next years. You have to develop, and that's why you have to exchange with colleagues, visit such interviews like you are offering today, Christos, asking the guys from COMPO EXPERT, asking me, whatever. So talk about, and I would say then at the end we will be successful. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Passion and knowledge. That's it.
I keep it passion and knowledge, art and science.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lord. It was a pleasure to have you on the show, and I promise you that I will organize a webinar with people interested about that in order to share your knowledge to more to people that they are really need your experience and your knowledge and your advices. Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure for me, Christos. Thank you very much for the invitation. I hope I could touch and not only touch, but also clarify some points, some questions, some problems. But as you told, let's do a second seminar with concrete questions. Good.
Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.
Keep it green, huh?
Keep it green. Keep it
with
green.
Passion and with knowledge and with COMPO EXPERT products. Huh?
Keep it green. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.